Hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ray Bradbury. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do. So today we are moving on to story 6 of 100 from the collection, The Stories of Ray Bradbury. Today's tale comes from 1947 and it is called The Coffin. Brief synopsis: 7-year-old Charles Braling is dying. In the last days, he puts a lot of resources into building himself a very special coffin. It's no ordinary coffin. He says that it will save families money ultimately and revolutionize the mortuary business. It's made of metal, it's 12 feet long, about twice as long as it should be, and it has a glass lid of all things. His hapless, selfish younger brother Richard, who he's been supporting for years, and this Richard sort of lives in a lap of luxury, sitting out in the garden, smoking cigars and drinking fancy wine and wearing diamond rings. He wonders what's up. What are you doing this? What's the point? You're dying. Why spend all this money and resources on a box? And he figures basically he's trying to cheat him out of whatever inheritance he may have had coming to him. But one day, Charles dies. Richard then has Charles buried in a simple pine box with no ceremony whatsoever, knowing full well that this was not his wish in death. He then begins to investigate the coffin. He thinks that maybe the extra 6 feet is filled with money. Perhaps Charles intended to take his fortune to the grave and deny it to him. So he basically reads the instructions. It says, place the body inside. And he figures, well, maybe this will activate it. Maybe this will help me figure out what's in these extra spaces. And I can open the panels and find out what he's hiding. So Charles gets in the coffin. Immediately, the door locks on top of him. He begins to hear organ music playing. And suddenly a voice gives a sermon. And in that sermon, he says, we've gathered here to remember the life of Richard. Yes, it knows his name. Soon, he's jabbed by needles and has tubes stuck into him. On one side, his blood is being drained from him, while on the other side, embalming fluid is being pumped in. And then finally, the coffin rolls out the door and proceeds to bury itself in the backyard. So, this is a hilarious little revenge story by Ray Bradbury. I love this idea of a self... basically, it's a mortuary business in a box, and that makes sense. I mean, even to this day, and probably Bradbury's sort of beginning to see these things of packaged things, automation, in the 40s. But we buy things sort of wholesale in a box, one-stop shop even, and it's very much that in the context of burying people. But it's not lost on me the humor in the fact that the funeral business itself is excessively expensive for very little reason, because in the end you're all just worm food. So it begs the question, why do we need to spend all the money that we often do on this? So there is a uselessness to the whole thing. So it makes sense that Charles should spend excessively and put excessive effort into this contraption, because that's what we do already. So, the story's not profound, but I find that sometimes Ray Bradbury is at his weird best when he's being sort of playful like this. And so far, I've read 6 of the 100 stories in this collection, as well as 100 other stories from another collection. And of those stories in recent memory, this is one of the better ones, I think. It's playful, it's fun, and I highly recommend it. And it was well worth the grand total of 15 minutes that it took to read, so I highly recommend it. Yeah, so that's all, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Come back soon for another review from Ray Bradbury. Plus, I have a lot of other stuff that I need to get to here eventually, finish up Clive Barker and some of my other projects. But for now, we're going to focus on Bradbury a little bit, and I hope that you will enjoy me as I continue this journey. So thank you for tuning in. See you later.